Hey everyone, welcome to our exercise walkthrough on creating an S3 bucket and then modifying the EC2 instance holding the application to utilize this S3 bucket. As you can see, I'm already in the AWS Management Console and I'm logged in as the admin user that was created before. So the first thing that I need to do is to create the S3 bucket that will be utilized by the application. To do that, I'm going to go up to this search bar here and type in S3 and then click on the S3 service to be taken to the S3 console. Now that I'm in the S3 console, I'm going to go ahead and click Create Bucket. And for my bucket name, I am going to use employee photo bucket dash SR as my initials, and then dash and just 3 random digits. So I'm going to go with 963. I do want to make sure that my bucket is in the same region as the rest of my infrastructure. So I'm going to keep this as the Oregon region or US West 2. And then I'm going to keep all of the other defaults as they are. From there, I'll go ahead and click Create Bucket. And as you can see, my bucket has been successfully created. Now that the bucket has been successfully created, I want to test uploading an object just to make sure that it all works. So I'll click on the name of the bucket, which will take me to the bucket details page. And to upload a file, I can click this upload that's in the center of the page here, but more often I'm going to use the one in the upper right. So I'll click that upload button and then I'll click add files, and I'll go ahead and upload this employee to photo. After I add that file, I can click upload, and as you can see, the upload of that file was successful. So I'll go ahead and click close there. And in a previous demo, you might have seen a way to make this object publicly accessible, but for this bucket and for the exercises moving on, we don't want this bucket to be just completely open to the world. We want this bucket and these objects to specifically be accessed by the application. And so in order to do that, we need to adjust the permissions for this bucket, specifically the bucket policy. So since I'm already in the bucket details page, I'm going to go ahead and click on this permissions tab, and I want to adjust the bucket policy for this bucket. So I'm going to scroll down to bucket policy and click the edit button, which will take me to a spot where I can create a bucket policy. So to create this bucket policy, I'm going to take the policy that is in the exercise instructions and paste it here. But before I move forward, before I save this policy, I need to edit a few things. The first thing that I need to edit is the account number so that I am utilizing the correct account. And that will be done here where it says insert account number, and I will paste my account number there. And then from there, I will also scroll down and change this area where it says insert bucket name and put my bucket name there. And I need to make sure to do that in both locations, and make sure that I'm also removing the caret brackets when I do so. So now that I've done that, I can go ahead and save these changes, and my bucket policy will be created. And now my account with this specific role will have access to this bucket and the objects within this bucket. So now that I have tested uploading an object and created the bucket, as well as providing access to the bucket by that role, I need to modify the application to utilize this bucket. So to do that, I'm going to go over to EC2 and click on Instances. And as you can see, my stopped instance from previous exercise is there. And there's a cool little shortcut that can be used in order to clone this instance so that I'm launching basically the exact same thing and making sure that I maintain those settings. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll select this stopped instance, and then I'll go over to Actions and down to Image and Templates, and then I can click Launch More like this. What that's going to do is open up my instance launching page, but already have certain things filled out so that my instance is going to be a clone of the stopped instance that I've already launched. So what I want to do is make sure that I know that this is my updated application instance. So to do that, I'm going to append -S3 to the end of the instance name. So it'll be employee directory app S3. And my image and instance type are going to remain the same. So what I can do is just make sure that I'm using the same key pair that I'm using with my other instances. And then I want to scroll down and make sure that this is going to be accessible. So I want to change my auto assign public IP to enable. And that's just going to make sure that I have a public IP address to access for this instance. From there, I'm going to continue to scroll down as all of the other settings are still correct. And then I'm going to expand advanced details. With the expanded advanced details, I can see that the role is already associated to this instance. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to the user data. And what I need to do is put my bucket name in here so that now my application knows what bucket to utilize. And so with my bucket name there, I can now launch my instance. And that will just take a little bit of time. So I'll go over to my instances and I'll wait for that to be launched, just occasionally refreshing it to make sure that everything launches correctly. And I want to wait until the status check is showing 2 of 2 checks passed. So now that I've given it some time, I'm going to go ahead and click refresh again. And as we can see, there are 2 of 2 checks passed. So I just want to make sure that this application is up and running. I will select this instance and copy its public IP address. And then in a new tab, I will go ahead and paste that IP address. And as we can see, the application is up and running. We still can't interact with this application yet because the database hasn't been associated. So that is just to make sure that the application is up and running, and we'll be able to interact with it in just a bit. So now that that's been done, just want to do a couple of the closeout tasks for this. And so just make sure that you, if you're following along or if you've already done this, that you go ahead and stop this instance as well as delete the object that was uploaded to the S3 bucket. And that'll just make sure that you don't accidentally accrue any charges outside of running this exercise. All right, that's it for this one, and I will see you in the next exercise.